what's the movie with Brad Pitt that he's in?
World
War Z. World War Z. Oh, well, God, yeah, I'm not gonna be that lady that gets bit and then goes onto an airplane with a bunch of people, because that was just a jerk move. But like, if you're gonna be, oh God, hi Dad. If you're gonna be in wide open spaces, I may be like, dudes, I got bit. Just don't kill me. Just kind of keep an eye out for me when I start turning, you can kill me. But just don't let me live out here for a little bit longer.
Getting on a plane is a jerk move, I think.
Yeah, that's kind of a. And welcome everybody to Sports and Leisure Podcast. I am your host, Ty Heffling. This is episode 22, and with me is my older brother, Steven Heffling. Steven, how you doing today?
Doing well. Glad to be back. It's been a while.
Good, yes. It's been a while. We were unable to put on an episode last week thanks to technical difficulties, but we are here, and hopefully we're here with a very special episode for you guys, because joining us for our first international guest, a good friend of mine, Finn Bode, coming all the way from Germany. Finn, how you doing today?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
Doing good. Glad to have you on. I know Finn. He was part of the foreign exchange student program with our high school and with his high school in Germany. So we had our junior year of high school together in Iowa, and it bonded a lifelong friendship. I know Finn has a lot of friends that he keeps in contact with that we went to school with together, and whatnot. So, where exactly in Germany are you, Finn? Tell us a little about what city you live in currently.
I'm currently in Hamburg, which is where I went to university for my bachelor's program. And Hamburg is the second biggest city in Germany. Just after Berlin. It's got roughly 2 million, a little bit less than 2 million people living here. So quite big, and it's very far north, so somewhat close to the Danish border, very far north. So that's Hamburg.
2 million. How many live in Memphis, Steve? It's not a million in Memphis.
No, it was about right at 1 million in Memphis. Right.
So 2 million.
That's a big city.
That's big.
It is, yeah. But it's also, I mean, like I said, it's the second biggest in Germany, and I mean, you have many more bigger cities than Memphis in the U.S. So, the scale
New York
a bit.
And L.A., but I don't know.
There's
more.
Think
of any 2 million.
There's more people that live in the Memphis to Nashville area, that like 3-hour stretch, than there is in the entire state of Iowa. So think about that.
Oh, my goodness.
Which blows my mind. I meant to ask you. It's crazy how you went from Hamburg, or is that where you grew up? Was Hamburger?
No, I grew up in a smaller city in West Germany, but it was still, I mean, much bigger than Marcus, Iowa.
Yeah. So okay, that's the thing. So it's just crazy how you apply for a foreign exchange program and you end up in Marcus, Iowa, a town of 900 in the middle of nowhere.
I think they do that on purpose. Like, whatever kind of population school they have here in Germany, they try to put them in a smaller school here in America, whereas, if they lived in a smaller city in Europe.
So,
and I mean, actually looking back at it, I thought it was great for me, because it's so much easier to get to know people and to sort of find friends. I think it's much better than to be sent to like a 10,000 kid school somewhere in, I don't know, Detroit or whatever.
I'm very thankful I grew up in Marcus. I'm glad I had my classmates from kindergarten to 12th grade. I'm glad I went to school with a bunch of my family. I'm very thankful, because when I was there, I hated it because it was boring, nothing to do. But when I look back, I'm very thankful, because we had a good education. Marcus is a good school, and I'm very fortunate that I was able to be a part of that. So.
Absolutely, yeah. I really like Marcus, and I hope to be back sometime soon too. So,
and Steven, you didn't even have the other part about the educational system. I really enjoyed it, because when I went from there to here, the schooling was just awful. I raised my GPA up a whole point 1 year in Tennessee, then I lived in Marcus. So the schooling was a lot better. So, Finn, you live in Germany. So, tell us what sports you kind of follow, if any, and what your favorite teams are that you follow.
Yeah. So mostly, I obviously, as I'm sure you're aware, I follow soccer a lot. I've been sort of raised with the sports. I've been playing it since I was little. So that's the number one sport. I also pay a lot of attention to tennis, not least because I spent the last year living in London. In England, there's a big tennis culture. So, but even before that, I've always folled tennis.
Is Wimbledon in London?
Yeah, well,
Wimbledon is in London.
Okay.
Yep. So it's yeah, exactly.
I did figure it out. I answered it.
But mostly, so especially back here in Germany, I mostly follow soccer. My favorite team is Borussia Dortmund, which I don't know if you've ever heard of. I'm sure you... No? Never? Oh.
No. If you want to talk about European soccer, the only teams that I've heard of is
Premier League.
Is Madrid. Yeah, is Premier League teams.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you've heard of Barcelona as well.
Yeah, Barcelona.
Yeah, and Madrid. There are some bigger Spanish teams that are usually.
We used to play Winning 11 in FIFA. My old roommate was a huge soccer fan, so I learned a lot of the names from just picking teams from that. But I don't really know much about them. I know the names sound familiar is all.
Yep. Exactly. So it's not surprising that you guys know British teams first and foremost, and that the rest of the leagues kind of fade. But Dortmund is. So it's very close to where I grew up, so that's sort of my regional attachment to it, and they're just obviously the best team in the world. It's always fun to go to the stadium and to watch them play.
How many games have you been to?
I couldn't tell you. It's been a lot. Like
what are the ticket prices for something like that?
So it's quite the range. So if you're lucky, you might get a ticket for €10, and then you can spend up to. It also depends on the game. So if you're playing Champions League, which is a European competition where you compete with other sort of high-ranking European teams, ticket prices are much more expensive than if you just play in your national league. So in the National League, it's €10. So what, like $11, $12. So it can be really cheap, but for like seating tickets, so we still have the stands where you just have stands and no seating. The seating is quite a bit more expensive, but still affordable, I would say. I don't know, 40, 50 euros, something like that.
That's not too bad.
It's not too bad at all. Yeah. And so since I've been living in Hamburg on and off for quite a while now, I support a team here in Hamburg, a local team, which is a second league team, which is, I think, something Americans are often unfamiliar with too, that we have like a first league and then a second league, and the best teams of the lower leagues can get promoted into the upper leagues. And the
play
worst
like
teams
different countries.
Should be like major and minor league teams, so yeah. I mean, that makes
kind of like that, exactly. But I think so. From what I understand, with major and minor league teams, is it that just players switch from a minor team to a major team, or how does that work?
An organization or a team, they have a pro team and then they have an affiliating minor team. That they put in.
Is that what the Iowa Cubs are in baseball?
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
They're a minor league team for the Chicago Cubs, or is it?
No, I don't think it's for the Chicago Cubs. I might be wrong.
I don't think so either.
But
that's two on the nose.
We have one in Jackson that's the minor league for the Arizona Diamondbacks. So
okay.
So it's kind of stretched. They had fly from Tennessee to Arizona, but that's the way she is.
Yeah, exactly.
It used to be the Mariners, so I mean. Seattle, so I mean it's a little closer now. But we don't I don't hardly ever go to any of those games because it's like people you never heard of. Occasionally, a big name baseball player may get hurt, and then while he's rehabbing his injury, he may play a game there. But I haven't seen that happen in a really long time.
And so, but does it sometimes happen that some of the stars to be in the major league come through the minor league teams then, or do they usually get drafted right out of college?
Yeah, if they're really good, they'll go straight to the pro team.
Okay.
Like usually, especially with Diamondbacks, I haven't seen too many, high draft picks, big name guys that have potential. go through there, usually by the time they've been playing and they moved on, that's when they become a bigger name.
I remember growing up, I went to an Explorers game because Darryl Strawberry was playing, and I remember it was a big deal. He was kind of washed up at the time, but he had gotten sent down and with injury kind of thing. But I remember we going and watching them in Sioux City play or I don't remember who they were playing, but yeah, it was kind of cool seeing a major league guy play at a minor league team.
Yep.
So you're home.
And I have one more question on this. So
okay.
you don't have a chance for any team to be promoted into a major league like we do in soccer here.
No.
Minor leagues can be promoted. If there's a lot of injuries in the big league club, they'll bring on somebody from the minor league, or if they just
he's saying the actual
but
team,
not the team itself.
The minor league team will never be a part of the MLB or the hockey league.
No.
The team will always be a minor league team, but the players are the ones that go back and forth.
What a depressing outlook, then, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why I don't know why people would go to minor league teams. You have to be pretty bored to go watch and be a fan of a minor league team because it's always you're not gonna have any good players, and when they finally become good, they're gonna leave for the professional team. So that's hard to.
Yeah, but we went to watch the Musketeers all the time, and there was nobody there, but it was still fun.
I don't think that's a minor. That's like a.
It's a USHL.
That's not like a minor.
But it's a step below the NHL, and those players
they
get
have
called
an
up.
affiliation.
But those players get called up and can be entered in the draft, or can be picked up or or whatever. It's the same thing. You just.
Yeah, but they're not linked to a pro team.
No.
If they were linked to a pro team, that'd be a lot cooler. They're just kind of like a semi-pro team that, like you said, players can be entered into the NHL draft and things like that.
Do you guys have an MLS, a soccer team in
yes.
Tennessee?
Yeah, that's what's
you
called
do.
the Major League Soccer.
No, not actually, not in Tennessee. There's a bid. Nashville's getting one. It's in the process. The stadium's in the process of being built.
Oh, nice.
We have the minor league team. The soccer team is in Memphis, and then the pro team will be in Nashville, but not until I think 2022 or something. So
it's still in the making. It's still be called Nashville FC. So there's no name for it. It's just a football club right now.
Pretty creative.
Are you good?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's very common in Europe. So many teams are just called Liverpool FC or whatever it is. So
I've seen a lot of people excited about the Nashville team.
I mean,
so and
MLS is becoming a big thing. Soccer, Major League Soccer is becoming a real big thing.
Seattle, it's big in Seattle. It's big in I want to say Atlanta has a team that's pretty popular. In the Western
Chicago
in the West
is
Chicago's got a team.
Yeah.
So,
California's got a couple teams.
And I feel like in recent
LA it's big in LA.
In the recent 2 to 3 maybe 4 years, you start to hear more about MLS too, and I think they're building the league a little up. It doesn't surprise me that there's another there's going to be more teams joining.
When LA signed David Beckham a couple years ago,
that was
12
years ago.
That was a long time ago. I think that started the popularity growing, and then recently LA signed that dude name started with a Z. I don't know,
Ibrahimovic, Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Yeah. Thank you.
Also a name they used to listen to when playing finger. What was that name? Final 11.
Finger 11's a band.
I think I said Finger 11.
That's a band, yeah.
Well, anyway. Ibrahimovic, yes. Because that was, I remember that name was, because my buddy always played really, not popular teams.
Starting 11.
Little, it was winning 11 is what it was. But
winning 11.
But he used to play, teams that weren't good, that I never heard of, just because I was not good, so I always have a good team, and he'd always play a bad team, and there was always a
Yep.
You'd be Brazil's national team,
and he'd be Tottenham or somebody that I've never heard of, and just destroy me. But
Tottenham won a couple years ago. I know that's Jesse's favorite team.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So you said you follow a local team there. Do they just play in? Do they just have a Germany league that they play in?
Yeah,
so kind of a second tier.
So it's the way it's structured here is you've got a first league, a second league, and a third league. Those are all professional football. Where the first league is obviously the sort of the one that pays the best, has the biggest stadiums, has the most famous teams. and then second and third are just a little bit lower, but still professional. And at the end of the season, the worst teams get relegated down to a lower league. The best teams get promoted, and so the local team here is a second league team. They're not doing incredibly well this season. They're not terrible, but there's no chance they're going to get promoted at the end of the season, I would say.
So they're like the the Washington Redskins of soccer.
No, they're not.
Oh,
they're in the second
tier. Are you
tier.
still a Redskins fan? I'm sure you are.
Unfortunately.
Are you still?
The Redskins would be in a third tier. They'd be in a third tier.
I'm
league.
thinking like minor league,
Borderline being shut down. So
Canadian Football League.
Well, that's interesting. And have you been to a couple? You've been to a couple of their games this year?
Just what was it? 2 weekends ago, Amanda and I went to see them, which I think was the first time Amanda had ever been to a soccer game.
Are the soccer
sure
crowds
those are
as hyped and as awesome as I have heard? They sing the entire time, like. I've ever just that's the most incredible atmosphere I've ever seen is just like the constant singing and just awesome. Like you can just tell they're having a great time, win or lose, it doesn't matter.
Absolutely. So I mean, I can only compare it to. I've never been at an NFL game. I've only been to a college football game.
Iowa State.
What 10? Iowa. No, Iowa. It was Iowa.
Oh boy, I mean those are fun. That's fun.
It was a great atmosphere, but it's really quite different. And like you said, Steven, it's just a lot of constantly singing.
It's awesome.
You have your sort of choreographed cheers, and it's a lot of fun.
Man.
Chants, and you should really, if you ever get the chance to go to Europe, it's oftentimes really not that expensive to go to a stadium, and it's always great to check out the atmosphere. So it's a great experience.
Steve and I, we watch hockey, and our favorite team is the Nashville Predators, and they do chants, and they stole some of them from soccer clubs that they got around. Like whenever a goalie gets scored on, they will chant the opposing goalie's name, and then shout, "It's all your fault! It's all your fault!"
Goodness.
And then they'll say, "You suck," and then stuff like that. After
Poor guys.
They could be losing like 5-2, and that goalie gives up a goal. He's still gonna get that chant, and he's got to be sitting there thinking like, "Come on, we're winning." But no, that's one of the reasons I love. And like if they're on national television, like on NBC, if you listen really quietly, you can hear it. And you don't have to listen real quiet. You can hear it pretty clearly.
It's the closest atmosphere to what like you would going to a hockey game is much more enjoyable for like atmosphere wise than going to an NFL game. It's like it's more confined. It's closer. It's in a closed building, obviously, but it's just the fans are just much more into it than in NFL or baseball or anything else like that.
Do NFL fans do they have any sort of choreographed
no.
chants at all, or is it
no.
Is it
The
just
wave.
Usually about how the wave
the
and
wave.
you'll see how
This
drunk
is
and obnoxious
choreographed
we
as
can
it
get.
gets. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's usually half of them leave during because they're mad or they're winning by life. It's the NFL is boring to watch. I mean, I'll just
Well, I mean, your fans are further away from the field. The stadiums are bigger, so you're not as close. If you're like in a nosebleed section, you're kind of far away. So
Yeah.
And like I said, you're far away too because the stands have to be a certain distance from the field. And hockey,
you're
it's
there.
more like Steven said, it's more closed in. Even the bad seats, which we've been at the very top, aren't bad seats. Like I mean, you can just look down. It looks like you're standing on top of them, but you can still see where the puck is and everything like that. It's not.
I've been to one hockey game, and it was just incredible to see the pace of it. You don't really realize it when you see it on TV, but when
do you guys
actually
have hockey
stadium,
in Germany?
Yeah,
we do.
Of course,
it's
they have
not
hockey
as
in Germany.
professional.
Well, I mean, I know, but like it's not like Russia. I don't think where it's
it's
almost
not
a pastime.
huge. It's not huge, but it is. The professional hockey is a thing in Germany as well, but it's not up to the standard of the NHL.
But a lot of those players are. I mean, I bet you the NHL consists of 80% foreign, non-American players.
Yeah.
So I totally understand.
Canadians, Russians,
Canadians, Finland, Swedish,
Finland, a lot of Canadian and Eastern European teams is what makes up most of the NHL. Like 20, like Steven said, 20, maybe even 25% American. Are actually in the NHL.
Wow! I'm quite surprised by that. Yeah,
a lot of Canadians.
It's probably
a lot of Canadians.
Yeah.
Like I said, Steven, in our favorite team, there's 2 Americans.
On what?
Craig Smith, believe it or not, Craig Smith, he's an American.
Kyle Turris, no,
and I think Kyle Turris is Canadian.
Oh, I don't know.
And Dante, that new
Fabro,
rookie, Dante
Fabro.
I think he's American. I think those are the only 2. Most of them are from Switzerland or Finland.
Goalies.
Did I recently hear that Nevada now has or Las Vegas has a hockey team now?
Yes, they do.
Yes.
You've heard that right.
The Gold Knights, they started a couple years ago, and they've been really good. Like the league wanted them to be competitive, and they have been. They've been in the playoffs both years.
But how does it? So I'm amazed by this. But like, how does a new franchise how do fans flock to it? Like if it's just a new thing, I don't know. Like,
well, I mean, since they're good, it's fun. They're fun to watch. So they do have. I would say they have a home ice advantage because, like I said, when you go there, they put on a show, a Vegas kind of show, like a little play, before puck drops, and they have a night out there, fighting people or whatever.
Well,
but it's
just
a show,
out of curiosity, in American sort of sports venues, are you allowed to drink beer or any other alcoholic beverages? Okay,
professional.
It's expensive.
Okay.
Like 16-ounce cup of beer is like $12.
Oh my goodness! Seriously,
you're paying for it, but you can drink. That's why it's
professionals and colleges are starting to get into it.
When I was studying in London, a friend of mine came to visit, and we went to see a football game there. And you're allowed to buy and drink beer, but not on your seats. So you had to like drink them out on the ring around your seats, which was just like that. It doesn't really make sense to buy any anyway, because you're gonna want to watch the game.
Yeah.
So I was just curious whether that's allowed in the
Well,
US.
I mean, and for college, like you were saying, like in college, if the stadium was off of campus, they were able to sell booze, and then if it was on campus, the stadiums weren't allowed. But now, as of this year, the stadiums have the choice to sell. If your campus or not campus, they have the choice.
Yeah.
So, like Tennessee started selling booze this year, but they waited till the 3rd game of the year when we played the Mormons to start selling booze. I think that's ironic, but yeah. They didn't play the first week or the second week. They waited until we played the BYU, the Mormon city.
Half the sales of what a normal game would be.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But back to what you're saying is how like a team who just started become so good is that to have a draft. So like each other team has to give up. I don't really know the exact criteria. I can't remember. A couple good guys.
The teams can only save.
Okay.
They can only save like 16 or 18 of players from their team, and like 5 or 6 were put up for them to select one player from each team.
Yeah, so then they have it set up in a draft portal, and then the new team gets to draft out of those 4 or 5 choices or whatever. They get to draft one person from each team, and that's how they created that team.
Yeah. It has such a human trait aspect to it. The team just picks someone, and then the guy has to go,
Hunger
or
Games.
what?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Whereas in past years, it was like teams could save 20 guys. And
give them throw up.
The expansion team would only have a selection of like 2 or 3 guys from each team, so they expanded it to where they would have a better choice of players. Now, granted, the players they were getting wasn't expected to be this well. They've had really good coaching, and they signed free agents and made a lot of good trades. And they, like I said, they've been in the playoffs the first 2 years of their existence, whereas some expansion teams have never made the playoffs. Like baseball, I know the Nationals just won their first playoff series yesterday, and they've been playing
for a long time,
for like 15 years. Yeah, the Texans, they were expansion team in the football, and they just started getting to be consistently good, where they're in the playoffs, every couple years.
So when exactly is the NHL season? When does it start? When does it end?
It started last week.
Just started. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It just started.
Last Wednesday, I think, was the first day, and then regular season will go up until like the first week of April, and then playoffs. And the playoffs are like 2 months. Like it's a long playoff time.
Yeah.
Where what about I know. When does soccer league kind of go? I know they kind of go all year. It feels like.
Yeah. Essentially, they do.
Especially if they're a top franchise or level 1 or whatever?
Yeah, it sort of depends. So we don't really have playoffs in the sense that Americans do. We just have leagues where every team plays every other team in the league twice, once at home and once away. And that usually stretches the first half of the season, stretches from mid-August to sort of mid-December. Then in Germany there's a little break, and other countries there's a 2 or 3 week break too. I think England just plays through the winter, and then the second half of the season is where you just play the other teams in the same order that you did in the first half. Just if you've played them at home before, you're going to play them away in the second half of the season. So that stretches until mid-May, essentially. And then the season essentially ends when the Champions League final has been played, which is sort of the highest club competition.
Like the Super Bowl kind
in
of thing,
soccer.
or
Yeah, essentially, yeah. So the biggest game of club football, yeah.
And that's all European teams, right?
That's all European
Or it's
teams,
made up
right?
of different European, it's not just one country?
No, it's exactly. It's all European countries, and even countries you might not particularly put into Europe. Like I think Israeli teams have the right to play there. Kazakhstan, like some because they belong to the European. Yeah, they belong to the European Football Federation. But essentially, it's all the big leagues. England.
And you
Spain,
said there's no
Germany.
playoffs?
There is no playoffs in the national leagues. There is playoffs, not playoffs in the sense that you know them, but in the Champions League there is. And again, it's just 2 games.
And they're aggregate, right?
match.
Or whatever, however
Yeah,
you call
exactly.
them.
Exactly.
It's whoever
And
has
then-
the most goals after those 2 games, right? It doesn't really matter.
It's kind of
Like,
complicated.
if you lose
but
the first game, you have to win the second game by more goals than you lost the first.
That's right. And then if it's still tied after that, it depends on who scored more away goals. So it's it's a bit tricky, but I mean, once you get the hang of it, it's kind of easy too. But yeah, it's a foreign concept to people who've never really.
See, to me, that like it's like for once they're not doing things simplistically. Like we had the metric system there, and America decided they would take the metric system and not use it. So now we have a good, easy playoff system, and now Europe has a really difficult, hard playoff system.
It is.
So you're saying our playoff system is like the metric system?
Yeah. For once, America didn't do the ass backwards routine.
No, I think your playoff system makes more sense in the way.
Yes, I'm saying for once we have something that makes sense to do.
Absolutely, it makes more sense because it's a best of 3 or best of 5 or best of 7 or whatever it is.
Yeah, depending on what sport.
And just whoever wins more games is gonna go through. But we have ties in soccer as well, and it's not easy.
There's no ties in playoffs. You play until everybody's leg's broken or there's a score. And playoff, I love playoff time. It doesn't matter which sport I'm watching come playoff time, whether that's baseball, basketball, football, whatever.
You guys got to get me caught up on how's the NFL season going. I mean, they've played a couple games now, haven't they?
Yeah, we're going into week 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
how are the Vikings doing? I'll be interested to hear about that.
They're 2-2.
Oh.
No, they're 3-2. 2-3 or 3-2. One. They're right there in the middle.
Okay.
The funny thing is, I don't know if Neil told you, but the quarterback they have used to be the quarterback for the Redskins, and the Redskins didn't re-sign him, and the Vikings way overpaid him. Are giving him like. What was it? 5 years, $88 million. 4 years, $88 million.
My God,
it's insane.
He's played as well. Yeah, he's not playing up to his contract, and yeah. Ask Neil or any other. Go ask Pat Bunt. Ask Pat Bunt what he thinks of Kirk Cousins. And I'm sure
you dumb motherfucker! I
can
can just hear it now.
Yeah.
I can hear it now.
You'll get an earful, I'm sure, from Pat Bunt.
And how are the Redskins doing, Ty?
Awful.
Terrible.
0-5.
0-5.
Oh,
they just fired their coach.
It's a dumpster fire. So imagine a dumpster being on fire, and then that's the Redskins.
Is there tanking in German soccer? Do teams play bad so they can get a good draft pick the next year?
No, because we don't have drafts.
That's right. You guys got it's free agency all there.
Yeah, we don't do drafts, which I kind of think is weird that you.
When can you start? How old do you have to be to
15 probably
for you to be signed?
I mean, Dortmund signed a player a couple years ago that was 15 or so. I mean, it depends. It just depends. I think legally they have to be 18 to sign some sort of official contract, but just recently Barcelona played
or something like that.
Yeah, but Barcelona played a 16-year-old in the Champions League game against Dortmund, and it's not like he's going to do that for free. So I don't know how exactly that legally works, but
candy.
Yeah, that would be your
He's
favorite.
16. What does he need money for? Steven, what was that soccer player that came out of America? This is a long time ago. Like, he was supposed to be the next big thing.
I remember this.
His name was Freddie. I don't remember his last name.
Freddie
Adu.
Freddie
Adu. I know he hasn't panned out. He hasn't panned out at all. But he's supposed to be the next big thing.
You have the next big thing, which is Christian Pulisic, and he used to play for Dortmund. He now traded to, or was transferred to Chelsea.
Ooh, I'm familiar with Chelsea.
Good. And he's from America?
He's from the U.S.
Well, then hopefully he'll get America back into the World Cup. It was just... I still watched the World Cup last time, and we'll get into that because I know you're going to watch Germany.
A lot of people don't like Kingsbury, but him not being the manager for the men's soccer club is going to never go back to... The men's soccer club will never win a World Cup. Mark my words. The women, on the other hand, are dominant.
Yes. Well, we'll get into the women's, too. Dang it, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, firing... what's his name?
Cliff Kingsbury,
I mean, because he was German. He played for the German team, right?
Oh, Klinsmann.
Yeah, Klinsmann. That's it.
Yes.
Klinsmann. Yep.
Yes. You're thinking of the Arizona coach. Yeah.
I
thought firing him. I thought firing him was dumb too. I didn't think they should have done. I thought he was a good coach, and obviously.
But when did he get fired?
He got fired right after. No, he got fired like a year before the World Cup started.
Qualifying, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was ridiculous that you didn't make
I don't know if they had just missed it, or they might have missed qualifying, and that's why he was officially fired, or it might have been before that. But, yeah, I watched the last World Cup, but just not as much of it because America wasn't in it, and it was just a lot harder to get in. But I still watch the World Cup because it's fun to watch. Like I said, we talked about earlier, the crowds are great, and it's ridiculous, and just watching Germany just play, or watching a good soccer team.
Well,
it's crazy.
I'm afraid to admit that like the last World Cup, Germany was just absolutely, it was abysmal. Their performance was terrible.
They had a little bit of a hangover, I would say.
And yeah, exactly. And it's the world champion curse, because they won it in 2014, and like it's just been the case recently that the reigning world champion is going to do shit at the next World Cup. But I still love the World Cup. I'm really pumped this year. I mean, the next summer, 2020, will be the European Championships, which is always a huge deal in Europe as well. So I'm always really excited for the summer tournaments in
Where
soccer.
is the next World Cup at?
Isn't it in Canada?
No, it's in Qatar. It's in fucking Qatar. That's it's going to be a terrible World Cup.
Terrible than Brazil.
I thought that the World Cup was. I thought that America was trying to get the bid for the World Cup, and they were going to have it spread out across the United States.
No, they will. I think it's the
2028?
24?
I think it's 28.
6?
Is it?
Wait, 2020. Yeah, 2026.
Okay.
I think is a World
Cup,
and it's going to be. It's going to be in the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. So it's going to be spread out.
North America. Because I know there's like 2 or 3. Like
North
Atlanta
America
is getting a little spot. Like they're talking about having a spot in Nashville. There's going to be. I mean, it's just going to be like 3 or 4 spots in the United States, and then a couple in like Mexico City, and then in Toronto and all that. So that'd be great. But I hope it's a big following because I just don't
spread the wealth there.
Yeah, but it's also I've looked. I've looked at the stadiums that they're or at the places where they're gonna have games, and Kansas City is among them.
Just keep talking, it's fine.
Yeah, is it fine? Kansas City is going to be one of the places, and there were other cities where I didn't expect them to have a World Cup game. So,
well, I don't think maybe LA does, and like Steven said, maybe Atlanta has.
So how big is like
the
average stadium? Because like the average football stadium is like 60,000 to 70,000.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody here capable of holding the World Cup, size. So that's why it would be good to. I'm sure Mexico has one or two, and Canada probably has a couple or two.
Yeah. But I'm really excited for that one. I think I'm gonna try to get tickets for that World Cup. I know it's a couple years, going to be a couple years in the making. But I think it's a great place to have a World Cup. So.
But
I think the last one was like in the 90s, maybe early 2000s when the last one was.
No, in 94 I think was the last
94?
one.
Okay, I was way off.
Well, in the 90s, you were right.
So, all right. So the women's soccer, there's been, I don't know if you've heard, it's been a lot of, after the Women World Cup went in, there's a lot of upheaval about how the women are paid unfairly compared to the men, even though they actually play well and the men do not. What do the German women's team, do they get paid? I assume they do. Or
so they do, but they also they do get paid quite a bit less than the men do. And I did hear about, I think, the women filing some sort of lawsuit again, or to achieve equal pay, essentially.
They need to get paid more.
Or more. Well, I mean, it's sort
in
of
our situation.
It's
more.
such a tricky situation because you're gonna judge success against sort of what the business side of things.
No, that is true. I
you.
mean, they're not bringing in near as much money as the men's. I mean, I get that 100%, but I mean, like when you have a just terrible team. And they're supposed to be representing America in the World Cup, and they're not doing it. And then the women come here and are doing what they're supposed to, and that's represent. But not only that, they're dominating, and they've won 3 World Cups in the last 4?
Yeah, absolutely.
4.
Absolutely.
In that situation, as just the World Cup, they need to get paid more for the World Cup experience and what they have done than what they're making now, for sure. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't think they, like you said, they probably can't afford to pay them more than the men's because the men brings them more money, but. They definitely, without a hands down, need to make more money. There's no other option.
Yeah, I also don't know, so I don't know exactly what sort of the legal basis or their arguments were, but I think it's up to the association or the what is it called, the I guess
FIFA.
No, not FIFA, but the US specific one. That sort of because they get paid through that, I think, rather than through FIFA.
They get paid a couple different ways, I think. Like, they get a section from FIFA, they get a section, for merchandise, and then they get a section, something like that.
Yeah. But I think it's up to them, and then I think they should make the fair decision. And, it is a bit ridiculous to think that a team that wins the World Cup, I think back-to-back now, gets paid so much less than the men's team that didn't qualify.
Who's never been past the round of 16 in the World Cup.
So what's the average size of I want to backtrack a little bit of a football stadium in Europe? Like what's the capacity?
I mean, average size is so hard to say because it's different from country to country and from league to league. I think in Germany, maybe around 60,000.
Okay, so I was just comparing because the average NFL stadium is 60 to 80,000. College is probably close to 100, just depending on what school it is. But I was just saying, I didn't know if because it just looks like when you see a soccer game on TV or you just see it just looks like there's about 120,000 people,
200,000 people,
and they're all screaming and chanting and singing. It's just so awesome.
Yeah,
waving flags,
pounding steins of beer.
Dortmund Stadium is it's a little bit over 80,000, but I think on average in the first league it's going to be more right around 60. But I think Barcelona Stadium is around 100,000. But I look at the college football stadiums and I think, Christ, I mean those are big stadiums.
Yeah, I mean Tennessee holds 102,000 people, and Michigan has 105 or something. And they're packed every Saturday. There's a game there. They're packed, and people in the parking lot. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Steven and I were lucky. We went to a Tennessee game, and it was the first one that they had checkered the audience. So one section wore white, and one section wore orange, and it looked like a checkerboard. It was one of the coolest things. I'm glad Steven got me a picture of it, so you could see the crowd.
And it was actually a game we were at too. It was crazy.
Yes, it was. It was one of the coolest things to be part of. So.
And they're all singing Rocky Top. Oh, but anyway. Tennessee also sucks. It's not Tennessee's terrible.
Yeah, it's not looking good. We got a hockey team to look forward to. That's really all about it. But okay, do you watch any American sports? Are you able to? Did any of that get televised over there?
Like women's volleyball or soccer, softball, maybe?
Yeah. Dodgeball?
None of that. So I think there are streaming services now that offer the NFL for sure, and I think even some baseball and NBA for sure. But I don't really tune in.
That's fine.
The Vikings had a great season. I think was it 2017, 2018. When they went, I think, all the way to the semifinals or the
close. Very good. Yes.
And so when I sort of heard about them doing really well, I just wanted to check in how far they would go. So I would watch the highlights and stuff. But
why were you
just because of the?
Why were you a Vikings fan? Is it because of Neil and the Bunts?
Yeah,
exactly. I live with the Buns, and you pick it up.
You got to.
That I have not regretted becoming a Vikings fan. I mean, unlike you, Ty, I think you're. How did you become a Redskins fan? And Stephen, what fan are you?
I'm also a Redskins fan because of our dad.
Oh,
our dad. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably the worst thing he's getting.
I bet you had a good time living with the Buns for a whole entire year.
That would have been. Well, actually, he started living with the Whelps, and he lived there for a couple months,
and then he
moved over.
You're like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta go.
Upgraded.
I don't even really remember when I moved to the Buns, but that was it was a very, very good time.
No, I could just hear Noreen and Pat. Oh boy, that was a good time.
Oh, it's so much fun. Yeah.
But it was just you and Neil that lived there at the time, right? Because I know Dan's same age as me, so I know he was gone. Yep. And obviously, the other brother, and Katie and Sean were gone too. So I was just curious. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Finn was on the football team. He was our kicker. And I felt bad because I felt like we could, if we would have tried hard enough and just kicked field goals, he could have definitely made like first team All-American, I think, or whatever.
It still hurts, Ty. Don't bring it up.
I know.
It still hurts.
Like he maybe had like 4 point after attempts just because we didn't score that many touchdowns, and every now and then we trot him out there for like a 30 or 40-yard field goal, and he'd usually can them. I figured if he'd had a couple more opportunities, he could have gotten first team or something. But I think he still lettered. He did letter.
I did letter, and I did get a what was it? Second? What is it? What was it called? All team something.
Yeah,
I still got a little medal for it.
But more importantly, you were an Eagle, and now that does no longer exist.
Exactly.
So that's cool.
I know.
It's
what
sad.
are they now? The Rockets are they?
The Royals.
It's just,
the Royals.
I mean, we had the best high school fight song ever. And it's just, it's all gone.
I still remember that song every once in a while when I don't know, on a car ride or something with a man, I go rump bump.
Because they scared us. They said if we didn't know the fight song, they were gonna pee on us in the shower. So your freshman year, you had.
Hey, look it. I have my 15 class union coming up this year, and it pops in my head all the time, and I still know the words.
Yeah.
Onward, you Eagles, fight on for your fame, take the ball, go down the field, or touchdown, win this game. I mean, come on, who doesn't know that?
Rah, rah.
I do too. I do too.
Exactly. It's just one of those things that's always gonna be stuck in your head.
Yeah.
So that's fine. Getting an American. I mean, it's not really worth it. When you growing up, what kind of like little league sports were you able to get into? Did you guys have like a baseball league you could play, or was it just all soccer?
It's very different. The organization for youth teams is quite different than from the US because you do everything through your school essentially, right?
Yeah.
And we do it usually through the sort of local town that you grow up in or the part of the city, and then there's a local football club, tennis club, whatever, a ping pong, what have you. And so you play through sort of your local village. And then we also don't do seasonal sports. You play, soccer or any sports. I mean, we do have quite a lot of choice when it comes to sports, but I think baseball is you might be able to find a baseball team in the bigger cities. Yeah, but it's still very a minor sport, I would say.
I don't see Germany in the Little League World Series too often.
No, that's like you need to go to Japan for that.
Nope.
Korea.
Yeah.
Mexico.
But basketball is quite popular. Then, like I said, tennis is a big one too. And I think those are probably the top 3 sports. And then, depending on where you live, you actually do have winter sports and all that jazz, but not where I grew up. But
like Olympic winter sports, stuff like that, like skiing and bobsled. You guys always got a good bobsled team.
We always do have a good bobsled team, but
and
I have
curling, curling. Don't forget that.
And curling. But I always wonder how people get into that. How do you just walk up to the bobsledding
and how you get good? Like, I mean, people are winning
apparently
gold.
You need to watch Cool Runnings because that'll tell you how to get good. It's practice.
I have seen Cool Runnings plenty of times.
It's great.
I don't good movie. I'm glad.
Ice.
That's the only thing you came to
Eskimos
America for.
and ice.
We did good. Yeah.
I'm gonna take a hot shower, getting cold just thinking about this.
I'm freezing my Rusifar Yanini's off. Yeah. So in Germany, the top 3 sports then are soccer, tennis, and then you think basketball?
I think I definitely. So soccer, without a question, is the number one, and I think it is tennis then, and then probably, then it's probably basketball. I would assume, but I'm not 100% sure.
You guys don't play cricket, do you?
No, that's like a UK thing.
It started in Europe, I think. But
it started.
That's all that's British.
It's
Great Britain.
That's Pakistan now.
The Brits brought it to essentially all the colonies.
It's the most weirdest, frustrating game I've ever watched. It's like it's weird. It's like
I can't say that I fully understand it either. And I think there's
a Netflix.
You got to pitch the ball, but it has to hit the ground.
Netflix series called. There's a Netflix series called Explained, and they have a bunch of subtopics that they explain. Like just whatever.
I've seen that one. And
cricket is on there, and I watched it, and I can gain a little bit about it now. I just know that like tournaments and matchups are like 4 days long. It used to be or something, but it's still a very hard kind of game to wrap your head around. It's kind of like baseball. That's as close as you're gonna get. Is
I think that's exactly right.
But it's like Little League baseball that everybody bats. Like there's no outs. Everybody goes through and bats.
You get to put a tee up for them. What about racing cars? You guys got car races over there? I know you guys like the Formula One.
Yeah,
Formula One.
But
Formula One.
But you're not like NASCAR is not a thing obviously there. It's an American sport, but stock car racing. But Formula One is. Because like
Formula One is big
because they race in like the city. They don't have like they have tracks. I'm a big Top Gear fan, so like
Top Gear.
But like I noticed that like they have tracks and stuff, but it seems like everywhere he goes, everybody's got a track. Every city has like a little track of some sort that they go to. But like a lot of times that they shut down cities and like make the track in the middle of a city, and it's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. Like
But those, I don't watch a lot of Formula One these days, but the ones where they have a city track, I think those are the most fun to watch.
Yeah,
because
it's wild. Yeah. Like you get
somebody messes up.
Somebody eating
3 to 4 people could.
Somebody's on a patio having a croissant and a cappuccino, and here comes a track. It's like
a tire tread just
I like
slices
even
their head off.
how your picture of a typical European is having a croissant and a cappuccino.
We don't know a lot here
outside on the sidewalk somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm jealous because I wish I could sit outside, have a croissant, and a cappuccino, maybe a beer, or,
Germany has some good golf players too.
Germany does have good golf players.
What's his name? Heinrich Stenson.
Yeah, Heinrich Stenson. Yeah.
He's from.
You wouldn't know more about this than I do. I do know Bernhard Langer. Is that his name? I think he used to be big, and I don't know the 80s or so, like way before I was born, I think. And then Martin Keimer, I think that he was
Martin Keimer. That's what I'm thinking.
Martin Keimer, yeah.
Henrik Stenson might not be German.
But,
Martin Keimer, yeah, he's the one I was.
Are there a lot of golf courses there?
Yeah. I feel like, I don't know if that's just me noticing them more, but I feel like it's getting a little more. We had just very close to our school. I mean, I've been out of school for a lot of 6 years now, so quite a while too. But when I was still in school, they just built a golf course very close to our school, so it became like a part of our sport curriculum or whatever you would call it. So
now that we're talking about
they start to pop up a little bit, I think.
I saw a clip the other day of the Montana State High School Championship golf, and they were like there was snow. Like it had like halfway through the tournament, it started snowing, and at the end they were taking their coats and they were brushing off like the pathway to the hole in the greens because the greens were completely covered in snow. Like that's crazy.
Having to use orange balls.
Yeah, like
Oh my goodness.
the guys playing golf in the end of middle of October, and their state championship, and it's ruined because of snow. I didn't think Montana had a golf course. Honestly, I didn't think they knew what a golf club was, but.
Yeah, just a place to keep their horses.
Yeah.
Do you guys play golf?
Yes.
Or did you used to play in Marcus
Yeah,
too?
when I went into Marcus, I play almost every day.
Yeah.
I mean, almost every day.
I'd like to play more. It's just kind of tough
It's
and there's a golf course right smack dab in between our houses that
But there's I work at a golf
3
course.
minutes away.
I work at a country club. It's it's a top 5.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
top 5 course in Tennessee, and I can play there. But it's like I don't want to play by myself sometimes, and it's just this, and it's not the timing is not convenient as much as I wish it was, because I do enjoy golf. When I went back I went to Marcus last in August for a week, and I played
fun.
every day I was there. I either played by myself, or I played with Gurr, and I played with Angelia, or I played with a couple of my buddies and stuff like that. So I had a great time, and I miss that, but I miss being able to just go uptown and play some golf, because it's not near as convenient as it is here. Or is there?
I loved I always loved it in Marcus when it came to golf, how you could just basically just roll up, get
whenever
the golf
you're
cart
ready.
out and just
play
around the golf.
There in Marcus, there's no dress code. At my golf course, you have to have there's no jeans. You have to have a polo shirt. It has to be tucked in. You have to have a belt on. You have to, it's just.
This is very much the way it is in Germany.
It's a country club. I mean, it costs $70 to golf, 18 holes. And that's with a membership.
That's the least fancy thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. But.
Well, that's interesting to hear. I've always been interested about that. I'm sure you've probably been asked those questions a lot, though. But so you just played soccer then in Little League growing up, and that's about it?
So I mean, I did. You sort of do other stuff. Squash. Have you it's like racquetball basically? I used to play that quite a bit. And just like general sports. But I mean, soccer was always the number one. It always was the only sport that I actually played in a organized way in a club. It essentially takes up all year too, and we don't really get a break from it. So
Well, that's cool. Like I said, I'm glad I grew up where I grew up, and there's a little more options than just soccer. I'm a little too husky to be running around all that. So
I really that's one thing I really liked about the way sports is organized in the US. How you can just try out different things, and then you can drop what you don't like and keep at what you did like. And in Germany, you just sort of pick what's easiest and then you stick with it. But, yeah.
All right, well, we'll just end with that with sports. Just a couple other random questions I want to ask you. What fast food places are there in Germany that there were in America, and which one do you miss the most? So I'm sure there's McDonald's in Germany, right?
Yeah, right. So KFC, McDonald's, Burger King, those are very international. What I do miss
Taco John's
most. Yeah, I was just gonna say it. It is Taco John's.
I miss it too. We don't have it in Tennessee.
Taco John's.
We're not in Tennessee.
I know it's just a Midwestern thing.
It's the most nut kicking thing I've ever heard in my entire life. I'm not gonna.
And I miss Pizza Ranch, and I miss Casey's.
Yes.
So I was. This was just gonna be my hot take, my unpopular opinion. I think Casey's Pizza is overrated. I know
it is overrated. No, it is overrated.
Yeah.
But it's a nostalgic thing. It's something that I grew up with, and I can't have when I want.
When you haven't had it.
So I go home because trust me, I went home and had a whole pizza to myself in the time of a week, and I was like, you know what? I have my fill. I'm good. I got it. Just tasted what I wanted. It bring back memories. I'm going back home, and now I could go for Casey's Pizza right now because it's been almost 3 months since I've had a piece, or 2 months since I had a piece, but like Pizza Ranch, same thing. I got the buffet, talked to Belinda, I was like, great, eat and done. I was like, all right, cool, I got my fill, I'm ready to go. I mean,
Yep.
Just
So Pizza Ranch for sure, and Taco
Yeah.
John 6-pack in a pound.
Six-pack in a
I'd go for
pound.
that what does a 6-pack in a pound cost these days? Do you guys know?
Probably 12 bucks,
yeah.
I'd say, something like that now.
Yeah.
highway robbery.
Yeah, I would guess. I don't know. It's been 2 years and a half since I've had Taco John, so it's been a
Yeah,
while.
all we have here is
And London. In London, just recently, a Taco Bell opened, and I just wanted to try it out just to
I love
see
Taco Bell.
if it's anything close to Taco John's. And I
There's
just
no
walked
potato
out
lace.
disappointed.
Yeah.
Taco,
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Taco John's is fancier. If you want to just get a bunch of crappy tacos and stuff, you go Taco Bell. It's cheap and it's just whatever. But Taco John's is like the fancier Tex-Mex, and you get the potato lace. Taco Bell, we have it here, and I mean, I go there quite
And
often.
it's open at 2:30
I go
in the
there quite
morning.
often.
That's
And
part of the
get a
appeal for Taco
chalupa,
Bell.
gordita crunch, and a couple social tacos. You're good to go.
Crunchwrap Supreme. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And
So-
then one of the more I've tried Five Guys a couple of times.
Oh,
That was-
God.
Five Guys,
that's
Five
good.
Guys is good.
It
Five
is
Guys is
good.
good.
It is good. It's very good.
Is hamburgers kind of like an American thing? I mean, you guys obviously probably have hamburgers, but like, if you're eating one, do people put their nose up to you and be like, "That's
Ty,
so
we live in
stupid
Hamburg.
American.
Ty, we live in Hamburg.
Okay, you're right.
No, but I mean it is. So I've often said this before. Like a burger that you just get at some like local joint in the US is always going to be better than one of the fancy burger places here. Like there are some fancy burger restaurants where you overpay for your burger and it doesn't taste as good as just a regular
Like the Burger
sort of
Barn.
burger
Doesn't
joint.
taste like the burger, like
Yeah.
just good old fashioned burger, onion rings.
Or
and-
JB's. JB's.
JB's,
I mean, we
yeah.
can talk about how long it takes at JB's to get a burger, and it is that that's a downside, but it is so good.
Boy,
it's
that
so
sounds so good right now with a JB burger.
good.
All right, well, that's.
I cook for a living.
trying to think.
I'm a chef, so I get
food connoisseur. Yeah, chef.
Yeah. That's,
I'm trying to think. What else? I was gonna. There was one other question, but there's something else I want to talk about. Something more about food. That's not annoying.
sing along, guys. Sing along.
Rah rah rah. Okay, this is for both of you. If one of you guys, okay, you're in a zombie apocalypse, modern war. You're in your little group like you see in most movies. If you get bitten by a zombie, are you going to tell everybody in your group and have them kill you right then and there? Or are you going to keep it a secret and just kind of hope you're immune?
So that reminds me that the new Walking Dead season is now on Netflix here. So that's a good way to remind me. I think
I
I
stopped
would.
watching after like season 6.
Yeah, me too.
No, 7.
I stopped watching when the whole Negan, is that what it's?
when he came in and started
Yeah.
bashing people's heads in, I said, I'm
Yeah,
done.
when he killed Glenn,
turned
I
me
checked
off.
out.
Glenn and,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Glenn and Abe,
exactly.
no more.
But
Yeah.
I think I would just keep the secret and try. And I mean, people would
Yeah.
figure out that
Yeah.
whether it's okay.
You're gonna die
I think
eventually,
may-
so why not run out as fast
You
as
may
you
bite
can?
3 people
Yeah.
before you do it, though.
Just
Yeah,
take out as many
exactly.
people as you can and just hope for the best until you get your head blown off. Which, by the way, they're coming out with a zombie
Well-
one too. I don't know if you guys saw that, but that
Yes,
was good.
I did see that.
Well, is
Have
that
you guys?
right?
I'm excited.
Have you guys seen Zealand? Not Zealand. What's the movie with Brad Pitt that he's in? World War Z.
Yeah, World War Z.
World War Z.
Oh,
Well,
God, that's
yeah.
an old
I'm not gonna
movie.
be that. I'm not gonna be that lady that gets bit and then goes onto an airplane with a bunch of people because that was just
Oh
kind of
no, no,
that was
no,
a jerk move. But like, if you're gonna be, oh God, hi Dad.
That's
If you're gonna be in wide open spaces, I may be like, dudes, I got bit. Just don't kill me. Just kind of keep an eye out for me if when I start turning, you can kill me. But just don't let me live
Yeah,
out
but
here for a little bit longer.
Getting on a plane is a jerk move, I think.
Yeah,
It's
that's kind of a because you're gonna get 2 or 3 other people bit before they figure out it was you, and in that case, the plane ended up crashing and almost killed Brad
Exactly.
Pitt. Yeah, yeah,
Almost killed Brad Pitt.
which doesn't happen very often. There you go.
and there we have it.
Yes.
All right, we gotta.
Made his appearance known. Yes, we're gonna wrap it up. I appreciate you coming on, Finn. I know it's kind of late notice. I know it's
Oh no, anytime.
it's a
Yeah,
little
this is awesome.
late there.
next time, next time I'll go to the stadium. I'll call in afterwards and give you a rundown of
That
the
would be
experience.
awesome.
That'd be good. Or
Yeah.
especially when the World Cup, next time the World Cup comes on, I know that's a while
There
away,
will
but
be
we'll pencil that in.
There will be a next time because
Yeah.
this has been great. Now if just Greg would have popped
Yeah.
his head in.
It's good getting that other perspective, somebody coming from a different country and whatnot, and seeing all that. That's cool.
Absolutely.
Like I said,
love doing it. Thanks for having
Yeah,
me. It was
yeah.
a
yeah,
lot
I
of
hope
fun.
everybody listening enjoyed that. Like I said, if you liked it, if there's any other questions that you want to ask Finn for next episode, be sure to email us at sportsandleisurepodcast@gmail.com. Like our page on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. You can also follow Finn. He's on Twitter too. I'm not sure what his handle is off the top of my head, but follow him on Twitter.
I'm not sure what my handle is, but
Oh, okay. Well, if
I'll make
you've got
you
an
guys
Instagram,
tweet about it.
you got an Instagram that you want to plug, go on. You can do that. Follow his Instagram, like all his stuff. Yes. I'm trying to think. Yeah, like I said, comment on Facebook. Give us a 5-star review on iTunes. Send us a comment that way. There's many ways to reach out to us, and we hope you pick at least one to do that. So, yeah, I hope you guys had a good time listening. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a good week this week, and tune in next week to our next episode where hopefully Greg will be back. So, we will talk to you guys later. Have a good week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Sports and leisure halflings and leisure sports and leisure halflings and leisure sports and leisure with halflings and leisure sports and leisure halflings and leisure sports and leisure halflings and leisure. This is sports and leisure with halflings and leisure.